For the longest time, AI was just software, right? A brain in a box, living inside our computers, crunching data in the cloud. But that is changing, like right now, in a huge way. AI is getting a body, moving into the physical world, and it's kickstarting a whole new industrial revolution. So let's get into it.
You've heard it a million times at the gym, right? No pain, no gain. Well, in the industrial world, the new mantra is no brain, no gain. Seriously. You can have the most powerful, most precise piece of machinery in the world, but without a sophisticated AI brain to guide it, it's basically just an expensive paperweight. And that's where this idea of embodied AI, or you could call it physical AI, steps onto the scene. What does that even mean? It means we're giving intelligence a body, letting machines handle all those messy, unpredictable jobs in the real world that, up until now, only a person could do. And the money involved here, it's just staggering. McKinsey thinks generative AI could pump something like $4.4 trillion into the global economy every single year. So no surprise, we're looking at a projected $2 trillion in global AI spending by 2026. And a huge chunk of that cash, it's going directly into putting these AI brains into moving, working bodies. All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we'll dig into this no-brain, no-gain revolution. Then we'll cover the nuts and bolts of how you actually build a robotic nervous system. After that, we'll meet the titans of the industry, look at the rise of humanoid robots, and finally, wrap up with why this really does change everything. So let's talk about this revolution. For ages, factory robots were basically caged animals, right? Stuck behind a fence, doing one simple, repetitive task over and over. But that's all changing. We're entering a new era where they become intelligent, autonomous partners, machines powered by physical AI that can see, adapt, and collaborate right alongside us.
But here's the thing. You can't just, download an AI brain into a hunk of metal and call it a day. To give AI a body, you have to build its nervous system first. And that system is built on 5 crucial pillars, each one creating a massive new market.
And this is where things get really interesting. Take a look at this list. It's a snapshot from what's called the Robotic Index. You might not recognize all these names, like Amphenol or Fanuc. They aren't exactly household brands. But trust me, these are the companies building the absolute bedrock of this revolution. They're making the foundational bits and pieces, and we're going to get to know a few of them much better in a minute.
So how do you build a robotic nervous system? Well, it all comes down to these 5 pillars. Think about it like this. You've got the drives, which are the muscles. Sensing, that's the eyes and ears. The cables, they're the nerves, zapping data back and forth. Control is like the brainstem, coordinating everything. And finally, you have power, the heart that keeps the whole thing running. Every single one of these is non-negotiable, and each one is its own massive market.
All right, so who are the master builders of this nervous system? Let's meet them. You can almost think of them as a team of industrial superheroes, the Avengers of the smart factory, with each one mastering one of those 5 pillars.
First up, we've got Fanuc. This company is all about the muscle. They are the undisputed kings of industrial robots and CNC systems. Those incredibly precise machines that carve metal? That's them. And what's really cool is their partnership with NVIDIA. They can create these perfect virtual copies of their robots, digital twins, to train and test them in a simulation before a single piece of hardware is built. It's brilliant. Okay, so we have muscle. Now we need eyes. That's Cognex. Their edge learning tech is a real game changer. Instead of sending data all the way back to some distant cloud to learn, the AI gets trained right there on the factory floor, at the edge. And get this, it takes less than 4 hours. It's basically giving robots superhuman vision. Now, looking at Cognex from an investor's point of view, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The bulls will point out that revenues are up, cash flow is strong, they're absolutely crushing it in the logistics space. But the bears, well, they'll tell you they're facing a pretty big slump in the auto industry, and there's some really tough price competition happening over in China.
All right, let's talk about the nervous system itself. This is Amphenol, and this company is what you might call a hidden champion of the AI boom. They make the super fast cables and connectors that are absolutely critical. And not just for the robots themselves, but for the giant data centers where the AIs are trained in the first place. And if you need proof of how crucial they are, just look at their stock performance, up over 100% in the last year alone. Wow.
Okay, so you've got muscles, eyes, nerves, but you need something to coordinate it all, right? That's the brainstem. And that's Rockwell Automation. Their software is the conductor of the orchestra. It manages whole fleets of robots and makes this idea of autonomous production possible. We're talking about factories that can literally optimize themselves on the fly. It's wild.
And finally, none of this works without a heartbeat. You need power, a lot of power. That's Schneider Electric. This whole AI revolution is just incredibly power hungry. Schneider provides the backbone for everything, from a single robot arm to those massive energy-guzzling data centers. They're even using AI themselves to invent systems that can predict and stop accidents before they happen.
Okay, stop for a second. Let's recap. We've just assembled a complete robotic nervous system. We have muscles, eyes, nerves, a brainstem, and a heart. So, what's the ultimate body you could build with a system that powerful? Well, that leads us to the next frontier.
The answer is something that, until very recently, was pure science fiction. We're talking about a general-purpose humanoid robot, a machine built in our own image, designed to operate in a world that was built for us.
And believe me, the race is on. You've got Tesla, which is using all that incredible full self-driving data from its cars to teach its Optimus robot. They're thinking this could be a $10 trillion market, way bigger than cars. Then you have XPeng using its expertise from robotaxis to build its iron humanoid. Their goal? Mass production by the end of 2026. It's happening fast. So look, this is about more than just cool robots. The rise of physical AI and humanoids, this is a fundamental shift. It's going to have huge economic and societal shockwaves. It forces us to rethink what work even is.
So what does all this mean for you and me? For our jobs? Well, look at this number, 56%. Right now, workers who have AI-related skills are earning, on average, a 56% wage premium. So this story isn't really about robots replacing people. It's about making people more valuable. It's about creating new, higher-skilled roles and making human talent more productive than ever.
So as we stand here, right at the beginning of this incredible new chapter, the biggest question isn't just, what can these machines do? The real question is, what will we do right alongside them? As these intelligent machines become our physical partners in the world, it's going to force us to redefine everything: the nature of work, our ideas of productivity, and maybe even human purpose itself.